Welcome to What the FFF, your mindset and nutrition. Welcome to What the FFF, your dose of no bullshit training and nutrition advice. Your host, Brendan Andrews from Forever Forward Fitness, with over 8 years experience and over 12,000 sessions and counting.
And Michael Shanos, elite level powerlifter with over 5 years experience in the disability fitness space with his business strength community.
Welcome back to episode number 4 of What the FFF. I'm Moose.
I'm Brendan, and today's topic is what is personal development?
What is personal development?
It's a little bit of a buzzword. It sort of fits into that mental health category, I guess you could say, and yeah, it's thrown around very broadly right now. So we thought, why don't we break it down, we go through it with people, and how does it fit into fitness? How does it fit into, I guess, your overall health, career, relationships, and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's taken off in the last few years, really, hasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I guess you've got to put yourself in there to that mindset of like, oh, I'm going to turn my life around, or better myself. And it is interesting, the people that you see at self-development things, isn't it? You see the top 1% of people, they're normally probably paying that shitload of money to go see the really good ones.
Yeah. The Gary V's and the big dogs.
You see business type people, and then you see a lot of broken people that are looking for either, to cure themselves of whatever they think that their problems are. And then you've just got the middle ground of us people.
Just the us people. Yeah.
I always felt so out of place at them sort of things, because just this large powerlifting man and with all these like trendy fucking. And I walk in sometimes, they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he here?"
You do look a little bit like a fish. So I think the stereotype that you're sort of pushing is that there's like that little bit of like that hipstery sort of vibe that does resonate with personal development.
A lot of man buns.
Deary me. Nothing against man
Top
buns here.
knots?
Top buns.
No, top knots.
Top knots.
Is that the same thing?
I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, they're not not quite on topic there. So. But yeah, so we together over the years, we've both been to a few different things, whether it's from audiobooks, whether it's from going to courses, whether it's actually having specific coaching.
Yeah.
So we do have sort of skin in the game, and then being coaches ourselves. I guess the point that you spoke about just before is a really strong point, and says with the no wrongs and rights. So you share with everybody what you thought there.
Yeah, well, I think you've got to swim through the shit to see the clear. Sometimes, like you have to test the waters, because you don't have to agree with everything that someone says, and that's I reckon that big point of the self development is you've got to find, and they'll explain it to you as your values. But you've just got to find what you agree with and what you don't, and you don't have to agree with everybody. There's a lot of shit out there, whether it is factually or it's just something that doesn't sit with your values. And I think once you be able to take the information that you receive, even from that same person, that is beneficial to you, that's what you need to take away from it. You leave the shit there.
Yeah, because it really comes back to what you resonate with.
Exactly.
And whether it's the person, whether it's the delivery, whether it's, crossing a line of something that may be considered too spiritual. Sometimes
it gets a little bit of little hippy dippy sometimes.
Yeah, little. Sometimes it does get a little bit voodoo, and I think that's something that is a bit of a problem in the industry. I think some people, especially masculine figures, get pulled away from it. Yeah. When it gets too voodoo-y.
Definitely. Like there is that spiritual connection and the sort of stuff, and that stuff doesn't really sit with me. Like I'm not a big fan of it, but I can take it for what it is. So but yeah, it's a definite hitch away, and that's why these guys like Andrew Tate are so popular, because if you really listen to what he says, it makes sense. Like, he's a bit of a dick. Yeah. I think his delivery shit.
Yeah.
Personally.
Oh, it's bombastic, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's just aggressive.
Yeah. And I don't particularly agree with everything he says, but I've seen some stuff where I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad thing to say. And then I see some other stuff where I'm like, this guy's a fuckwit.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like some of the stuff that he says, like, it's just like absolutely outrageous that is true, but shouldn't really be said.
Yeah, well,
And I don't really want to repeat any of those things
Nah.
because I don't want to be putting that category
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Very
It's really-
misogynistic.
for me, it's, sorry, I know a few people that are big fans. For me, it's people that just haven't resolved issues with women. That's his core.
Yeah.
That's his core base.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
angry at women for whatever reason. And look, that's his market. He's balling, except for he's in jail at the moment. But
Yeah, 100%. I've been trying to follow that, but there's not much out there at the moment.
yeah,
It does attract that masculinity. I agree with you there. It does attract that where there are unresolved issues or a younger figure looking for a role model
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
I've really
Yeah,
seen
look
that really trendy.
World-time kickboxing champion.
Yeah,
Fucking mad car, smoking cigars.
yeah. Super stereotypical. Isn't it? Super stereotypical. Yeah, but that's what it comes back to. It comes back to what you resonate with. So
Yeah.
if you were to have, we create a stereotype of a really masculine figure then, we go to the other end of the spectrum and we go to someone that's doing a lot of inner work, they do yoga, they're vegan, and like they're really into their feminine side
Yeah,
of
tell
things.
us about it.
Oh, and they will tell us about it. They will. But again, it's that's probably something that me and you will not resonate with.
No, and sometimes where that's the type of crowd that has been at the few things that we've gone to.
Mm.
They're nice people, but I'm gonna sit down and have a beer with them.
Yeah,
End
no,
of the day,
exactly.
That's
And
fine.
none of this is personal at anybody.
No,
So
if this does come across to you as personal, then you need to go do some self-development.
so this podcast is for you. You're a little sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, they're not here for that. And if they, on the fourth podcast, I don't think we've got too much of an audience to be pissing too many people off.
No, come back in a few years and get mad at this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get cancelled in a few years.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Cancel us.
if we're big enough to get cancelled after a bit of a controversial podcast a couple of years ago, then we've made it. We've made it. So, all right, if we get back on track, personal development. So, how will you create personal development? Like, there's so many broad ways to sort of move towards it, and we've already mentioned like people that resonate with you, finding your values, all this sort of stuff. What are some actually things that help you on the steps to getting towards personal development?
Oh, well, you've got to want to start with, and you've got to take it seriously. Like, many people jump in to start with, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, but then as soon as they don't agree with something, they just throw it out the window. And like, well, self-development's horseshit, and you just go straight back to your old ways.
Yeah.
I guess it comes back to the thing, but how you get there, well,
Yeah. Well, purpose though. So you just mentioned purpose. That's really good, but you actually got to have the willingness to change.
yeah,
as well.
exactly, yeah. You've got to be, what was the thing that Nick used to always say? Fuck, I can't remember.
I don't know. But anyway, something in the line, you got to have that willingness to change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just can't just think it's a good idea.
Surrender to the thing, that's right.
Surrender.
Surrender, yeah.
Okay. Surrender to the experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, see, I don't resonate with that. But I really think that the core message to moving forward with personal development, whatever those goals are, whatever those values, I think come down to discipline.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, it takes work.
yeah,
It's not just like, it's all well and good to go and do them, have a look at them shows, you pay your $450 and they sit down and they entertain you. Like, if that's what you want, it's only entertainment. If you're not willing to do any work for it, it's not development.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the problem. That's where discipline comes in, because those things come with motivation.
Yeah.
You feel good after something like that. Like they're going to entertain you, they're going to engage you, they're going to be a good performer.
Yeah.
But if they're going to get you into a state of motivation, you're going to go after it. And you're going to feel like you can take on the world and you're ready to make change.
And that's their thing, isn't it? They want you to feel motivated, so then you go buy something.
Exactly right. Exactly. We've been
Yeah.
been to that, the big sales sort of pitches.
Yeah.
I've been to one with Kerwin Ray, and it was an incredible 3 days, jam-packed.
They're good experiences.
100%. But it still baffles me to this day to the amount of people that walked up the back to sign up for a $50,000 a year program.
Yeah.
Without a blink.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow. And that's the motivated mind.
Yeah.
So to get into that motivated mind, then what happens when you're not in the motivated mind, but you still have these goals? And that's where I think discipline comes into it.
Yeah.
And it's the breaking down consistent small parts to what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And like, again, it says so broad, but I think depending on your personal goals, is it like, I don't know, what are some examples, like stillness, or like, I don't know, maybe being a little bit reactive, less reactive with a partner, I don't know, just general health. Like, it's just, it can be so broad to goals, but like if you break down like, what are the little habits that create the discipline?
Yeah.
For you then to stick to that long term, whether you're motivated or unmotivated. I guess at the end of the day, that's the goal.
It is. Well, I guess that's a little bit of routine in it. Like, and that's what's the key ones that they always first start with. Is just learning, like, we want you to have like a morning mantra, like what's your 5 things, like, and people, and that's always the first one that people dismiss, and they're like, nah, that's bullshit, that doesn't work. But eventually, like, and it's starting the day nicely.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself nicely in the morning, like.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's something that I use frequently. And to be fair, I've done it ages. Maybe I should start again.
Yes. But it's just, I think some of it comes with big words like mantra.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, there's a bit of voodoo with mantra. Like, well, what's a mantra? Like, it sounds like it's a religious sort of thing or something like that. Versus if it was to be like, all right, so the intention for this morning is that I'm going to speak to myself really nicely, and I'm going to set myself up for a good day where I'm positive with myself, I've got high confidence, and I hold myself well. That doesn't sound as voodoo, does it?
No.
Like, it sounds like, oh, actually, yeah, that's right. It's going to show me more confident. I've got a consult today, I've got something sales, or I've got a big meeting about a promotion. I'm going to hold myself to a higher level, more confident. Great. Yeah. That's personal development.
Yeah, 100%.
To me. And I think it's just really a big part of the point is that it's how it's framed, isn't it? Like, it can be framed up in so many different ways. It can be framed up like a monk, and it's going to change your life, change your perspective, change your inner self. Yeah. Or it can just be like, oh, actually, I'm going to be a bit nice to myself, and I'm going to be a bit of a nicer person. Yeah. Yeah, and very broad. That small little steps are sort of things that might, that just changes your day. Instead of starting, like, waking up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's like, all right, let's try and work on it. And you be conscious. That's the first step, is making sure that you're conscious of what you're doing. Like, the little big thing that was always recommended to me was when you brush your teeth in the morning, the 5 little things to make yourself present. Be present in that little moment of the morning. Like, what can you taste? What can you smell? What can you hear? Like, and it's not so much, it's just training yourself to have that little bit of focus on something that's an automated task. Yeah. You don't need to think about brushing your teeth. Just stand there. You could stand there mindlessly and doing it, but small little steps like that, they might seem like nothing, but eventually that they add up, where you can, especially if you're not very present. And it's hard to now, like our phones and everything, but bing, bing, constantly.
Little practices, and that's what they are, practices. Yeah,
100%, definitely. I think that's a really good point in the way that, like, it comes back to presence, isn't it? Like, it's, how you can be present in a situation, that's like, what does that goal lead you to? And it's just that big web of what personal development is, but presence is a really good one. I really like that. Yeah, nice. So if it comes down to, like, personal development, how you're having, like, a sense of achievement, sense of progress, and all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, and I guess that's the hard one, is that they're hard to measure. Yeah. They are hard to measure.
Yeah. What have we got? 10%. We'll be right. Low battery on the Mac, didn't I?
It is hard to measure because you can't. It doesn't look really like physical steps, like stages of Like it isn't at the age old one when people come in, they're like, I just want to feel better. It's like, how do we put a metric that we can gauge that? Like, we can't. You look better, you feel better. Like, I've looked better and felt like shit.
100%. So have I. Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point, because like how that's when setting goals for people in the gym and in a consult goal setting session, all that sort of stuff, I really find that setting the tangible goals is the easy part. Like, all right, we're going to train 3 days a week. We're going to do this for training. We're going to have this much water. We're going to do this for nutrition. Did you do that this week? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. But then it comes to the mindset sort of goals, and like, yeah, okay, you can be like, did you practice being present?
Yeah.
7 days this week? Like, yes, but realistically, like the measurement of like the progress there is hard, isn't it? Because have you been going to the gym for 4 weeks, 3 days a week, doing all that sort of stuff? Yes. Okay, cool. You're 2 kilos lighter, you've lost 7 centimeters off your waist, or you've gained muscle, gained strength, whatever those measures are, but they're there. Versus like, we can't get the tape measure around your head to measure your presence, can we?
Nah.
Which is, I think, a hard part. But I don't know.
And to be fair, like, a lot of people talk about, I'm going to do self-development and stuff like that, but they're not. Like, they might, and there's nothing wrong with getting their consumption of their what they call self-help. Listen to an audio book or a podcast or something like that. But unless you're physically doing something that they've, out of that book that's, they've given you a task and you have to go and complete that, you're just taking information. You're not using it.
Yeah, 100%. 100% you're not implementing it. Yeah, for sure. So, on the topic of consumption though, I guess, what's your favourite way of consuming personal development?
Would be definitely audio.
Definitely audio.
Yeah. Whether it's podcasts, audio books. I used to watch a lot of the YouTube and that. The YouTube, how fucking old did I sound now?
Oh my god.
The YouTube.
36 now, I believe.
But I just don't have as much time to sit down and watch content.
The cloud. It's in the sky.
Yeah.
Deary dear, that's good.
It's all downhill from 36.
That's a blooper, that one's going on there. That's a reel. Let's go to my personal profile.
But the most effective is when I'm sitting down and I have to physically write something out, type something out. That's I remember stuff really well that I hear, but once I've written it down, it sort of seals it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Because like I like audio as well, but I find that I can have my head can be somewhere else completely.
Yeah.
So that's where I like about the seminars or like the workshops where you're sitting down, or even Zoom works quite well because you can have the Zoom and you can have it live.
Yeah.
And then you're writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And it's like that workshop element to you're doing while you're sort of listening and learning.
I need the two really.
Yeah.
To really absorb. Because I remember there was one audio book. I'd read the book, and then I went back and listened to the audio book. And I was like, I remember none of that book. But then as he started talking, that's what it dropped my memory. And I was like, I'd read the words before I could remember it.
Yeah. And just sort of stimulated it and got it going. What's your thoughts on podcast versus audiobook?
Podcasts are more fun usually.
They're
a little bit more engaging.
Yep.
Audiobooks, I love audiobooks, but they need a good reader.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's not someone that's passionate, I'd always prefer that the author writes it, reads it. Sorry, because sometimes you get an audiobook and the person reading it is just you wonder how they got paid to do it.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely no personality, like
100%.
dry.
Yeah.
And then it takes away from you, like I don't want to listen to this anymore.
Yeah, but it was Jordan B. Patterson. I love his content, love his YouTube, love his short TikTok clips.
Yeah.
I could not listen to the audiobook.
Yeah.
Like, you've read that though, 12 Rules of Life by
Jordan
B. Patterson.
You mean Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Peterson. There you go. There's my blooper. Sorry, Mr. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I
quite like it. I liked his audiobook.
Yeah, well, I liked the content, but it was such a struggle to keep engaged with his narrating. Yeah. I just didn't engage with it. But I agree that you got to have that passion. You got to have that little bit of like perk to it. Because like I've been noticing that I'll sort of go through a phase of maybe like 4 weeks of audiobooks, but then back to podcasts.
Yeah,
And
you
I
gotta
find that
keep
really
it.
engaging.
Yeah, you gotta keep it fresh, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like I'm just on a little audiobook tear again,
Mm.
but previously I hadn't listened to an audiobook in 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. What other ways do they consume? So there's audiobooks, there's podcasts, there's just normal books,
Yeah,
those things.
them ancient things.
Ancient scrolls.
I guess like you said, the seminars and
Yeah, seminars, workshops. Then there's
Yeah.
actual like ongoing coaching with somebody
Yeah.
that's maybe a little bit more specific. Like
Yeah.
that's the service that we offer, but we're not like we're standing in a gym. Like our fundamental is gym. Like
Yeah.
that's the timetable. We don't have a timetable of like mindset sessions through the week. It's
Yeah.
gym sessions. It's just an added layer. So there's
Yeah.
specific coaches,
yeah.
and there's a squillion of those nowadays. But they call them life coaches, personal development coaches, or
Yeah,
whatever they
well,
call
I think
themselves.
people have gone away from life coach because they.
Because it got hated on.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the
But, yeah,
23-year-old life coach.
yeah. Like we said all before, like there's so much shit to filter through, and you got to try it. You got to go. You got to swim through the shit sometimes to find the good.
Yeah, yeah, and
You learn and it makes you learn. Teaching, even in that, is a good thing that it teaches. Like you can recognise. So that to me sounds like bullshit. I don't need that. That doesn't sit with me well because a lot of people will fall straight into that.
yeah,
Look at cults.
yeah,
They're just regular people. You think that there's something different about them, but
yeah,
when you talk to people that leave and they finally figure it out, they're just like, I didn't know I was so stupid.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can be manipulated, especially if you're vulnerable in the way of like wanting change in your life.
Yeah.
If someone promises you change and promises you something better, then
Oh, yeah.
you're going to be sucked in. So I think that's a perfect segue to our last point, being environment. And personal development is a lot easier when you've got some people in your corner that also care about personal development or care about improving themselves.
Yeah. And again, as long as them people fit into where your values sit, because you can still be friends and enjoy someone and have different values towards them, and not the same content's not gonna speak to you, and if it doesn't, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's much easier if you're surrounded by the right people that have that interest in that development.
Yeah, 100%. You were the average of the 5 people you hang around, isn't it? Something like that. You hang around with 5 alcoholics, then it's gonna be hard not to put down the drink.
Yeah, and that was to be fair, that was one that I've always looked at, and I don't know if I value that one as much. I agree with it.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about leaving people behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a value of mine.
Yeah.
But in saying that, they've got to be helping themselves. If they're not helping themselves, then they're not keeping up. They're not falling behind.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's a choice that they've made. But while someone's trying, I'll always stick my hand out to help.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really like that, because I don't think that advice is to go and like, if you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend that's sort of not interested in that, don't go drop them like a sack of potatoes. It's like, just because like, they're not into personal development.
Yeah.
Like, no, but I think it's like the premise or the whole point of it is that like the core people that you are hanging around, you're spending your most time around, giving your most energy to, are sort of in that element of it, or at least going to events that are doing it in that sort of way. Or you might have a group of friends that do that. I have a group of friends that are very business focused, and I have good friends that none of them have businesses. And it doesn't mean because I'm trying to grow a business doesn't mean I drop my other friends. Like they're awesome, they're wonderful. Makes me feel human sometimes. So so look, it's got to be that blend, but I think it's just an overall premise and point, isn't it?
But like I said, I think a good way for the finish is that you have to experience it to know if it's for you. You can't watch a video. You can watch a video and go, I don't think that would be for me. But if it's 50-50, what's the worst? You pay $50, you go a couple of hours, you get entertained, you walk out of there, you don't like it. It's like that old mate that we went and seen. I thought that was a marketing one, and it turned into a.
Oh yeah, that was the first Curl and Row, wasn't it?
No, Tom Clark.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I didn't agree with about 93% of everything he said, but there was one thing that I took away from that I thought that made that $150 worth it. And that was literally 15 minutes of that 12-hour day when I was hungover.
What was the takeaway? Do you remember?
Oh, no, it was one of the exercises that we did about the funeral.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
And it wasn't
visualization.
the visualization thing, and that was a good one.
Yeah.
For me, the rest of it was pretty much all horseshit.
Yeah. There's a bit going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, but at the end of the day, there's no wrongs or rights because someone in that group could have really resonated with that. Well,
there was a wrong.
Oh, here we go.
When he told old mate that his degenerative hearing issue could be resolved through positive thinking and that sort of come on, mate.
Yeah, there's somewhere in the physical.
And he started talking about quantum physics and fuck mate. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one to end on,
Yeah.
I reckon. Start talking about quantum physics, and that's where we turn off.
Oh yeah. The PT coach, life coach, talking about quantum physics. Right, show me how to squat.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you for listening. Episode 4. Make sure you subscribe. Check us out. Spotify, wherever else we're going to be. As I said, I'm Brendan. Check us out on Instagram, Forever Forward Fitness.
I'm Moose, Strength Community. Don't forget, the Moose apparel. New shirt. It's always diamonds, except when it's not diamonds.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.